Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Project Random. I've got my buddy back this week. Fabian,
Yes,
Rookie, what's going
yeah,
on, brother?
yes, I'm doing good. Yes, good to be back again. And yeah, so today we have a special guest, Kripa Jayakumar. So so we both know her, but she's more personal friend of mine. So I
Yeah.
went to school with her, and then we've been in touch ever since.
Mm.
Uh, and yeah, so Kripa has been an IT person since school, and she's doing really well at the moment. So she's trying to. So she's a guest lecturer in many universities, and also she's into cybersecurity. She's trying to raise awareness about cybersecurity and informing people about new techs and things like that.
Yep.
So before I spoil it with the more details about her stuff,
Yeah.
let's give her a warm welcome.
Yep. Very
Yeah.
exciting. So let's get her to explain what she does and pick her brain on cybersecurity.
Damn,
Good stuff.
you have like a proper podcast background compared to us.
Exactly.
So I do this when I'm like my classes also I do it online, right? So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We should
Wow.
have started the podcast with her. She's got the whole
Yeah.
setup.
Setup.
This is amazing. So how have you been?
Yeah.
How's the week been?
It's been good. It's nothing to complain. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Rookie, how was your week? You had a very big week, huh?
Yeah. So I started a new job in the council. So
Yeah, I
it's an
see your
engineering
Instagram
job.
stories.
Yeah. If anyone wants to know my life, they just have to follow me on Instagram. I think they'll probably see everything that I'm doing there. But yeah, so
That's the thing,
there
no?
was yeah.
Like if you don't post it, it's like it never happened, right? It's come to that. It's come to that point, like in the world. If you don't take a picture, like let's say you've got like a really
Yeah.
good story to say, but if you ain't got a picture or video to show, like let's say I met someone, right? Like my brother met, Lucian, right? Lucian, that Sri Lankan bodybuilder.
No.
Oh, you don't know him?
I think I've seen him.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
seen it. So
Yeah.
he's massive, right?
Mm.
He's like Ronnie Coleman, but in a smaller version.
Yeah.
So my brother met him very recently, and he just messaged me. And I usually don't do this to people, but then I asked him, like, really? Do you have a picture? And then he sent me a picture. But yeah, it's come to that point. So that's good. Congrats again on the new job.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
congrats.
Yeah. Thanks. What about you, Marlon? How's your week?
Same old, another day, another dollar. But no, like it was one of those weeks where like now it's towards December, right? So work, like I work in a bank, so I work for institution and corporate side. So all the businesses are ramping down during Christmas time. So now it's getting a bit quieter. And things will start picking up late Jan or Feb. But it's good because everyone's on leave. So it gets you in that holiday mode, like festive mode. But yeah, hopefully we have a plan to visit Singapore. So I don't know how it's going to pan out because now we recently found out that there's a new variant of COVID that's gonna
Omicron or something like that,
Omicron,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. So now we are very hesitant to go ahead and push the button and book the tickets because anything can happen overnight, right? So we're just gonna wait till last moment and see how it goes. But I think my wife will definitely want to go back and see her parents for like she's gonna do like 1 month, but I'll probably do like maybe 1 week and then come back just to see, just to show the good face and come back.
And then you come here.
Yeah, and then I'll be alone for the next 3 weeks.
You can come here. Come to Benalla.
Benalla, nah, bro. How can I work with Benalla in Benalla?
Aren't you working from home?
Yeah, I am. For the past 18 months, it's Kripa. Have you been working from home as well?
Yeah. It's
How do you
been
find
the
it?
same, I think, like around a year or close to a year or a little more than that, I guess.
Nice. How do you find that?
Honestly, I like it. So earlier it was a little bit difficult to get adjusted to that new lifestyle where you had to be at home and you don't know, because I'm someone who likes that physical classroom, interacting with the students and all of that kind of things. So
Yeah.
when it was all of a sudden it changed to virtual, I wasn't sure how I'm going to interact with my students, or how I'd know. My thing is that I want to know whether the students understood something that I said. So I
Mm.
wouldn't know any of those things online. But I think now I like it, and it's a little
Yeah.
bit more flexible than you lose a lot of time in traffic when you have to
100%.
commute.
Yep.
And so it's really difficult, but now it's I kind of like it, but now they have started physical classes
Mm.
as well. So now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
again that adjusting period where we kind of get
Yeah.
used to physical classes.
True, true, true. Yeah, I really hated it as well for the first 6 months. I like going to the office. I was that person. But then after the 6 months, I don't know what happened. There was a switch when I really started enjoying it.
Yeah.
And the best thing is like you can rock up to work at 8:30. Like, I mean, from bedroom to the desk, like just takes literally 1 minute. So you can sleep as late as you want, but the best thing is you can stay up as late as you want as well. Like even if you have to stay up for some reason until 6:30 or 7 o'clock for some reason, you don't complain because you are at home, right?
Yeah.
So even
Mhm.
at 7:30 you can just log off and you don't have to travel back home. So I think everyone I speak to tells the same thing. You lose a lot of time in commute, and they kind of
Yeah.
started to like it,
And
I think.
once we moved into this, the online life, you realize that there are so many things that you can do from home. You can do a
Mm.
lot of things virtually. You don't need to meet in person for them. Like,
Yeah.
I agree, there are certain things that you might need to be in a physical place, but most of them you can actually get your things done from home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
agree.
sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Rookie, you worked from home, right?
Yeah, I
Couple of.
worked from home last year. Yeah, till I think May. I worked from home. Yeah, it was good. But the thing is, when you work from home, the only thing is your productivity kind of lacks a little bit as well, because it's like studying as well. Like when you go to the office, when everyone is working, you're working as well. But when you're by yourself, when you try to do your work, you get
Yeah.
distracted very easily. But I love it because it's obviously you work from home. You can just even do it from your bed if you want to. But I
Yeah.
always have a table and I put it here so that at least it makes me think that I'm actually
Yeah.
working. And yeah,
Well, I would like to say like, yes, yeah, you can get distracted, but for me, I think I would be more productive in the sense I'm more happy. Like I'm happier
yeah,
because
yeah.
I get to do other errands as well. So I'm more happy. You know what I mean? So even if I had to stay
Mm,
back 1 hour, I'll be like, it's okay. Like I was doing this
mm,
during the day, so I don't mind at all. So you have that
yeah,
flexibility. So I'm more happy now. So yeah, I think we're gonna go into a blended model starting
Yeah.
January, where 3 days in and 2 days out.
Mhm.
I think most likely people will not come in on Thursdays and Fridays, Monday, Tuesday, and then yeah, that's how it's gonna go. Unless
mm,
there's a new, lockdown or something that can
mm.
happen like very very easily. Kripa, you mentioned students. That's a very interesting word. Do you wanna tell everyone what you do?
Yeah, so I'm actually a visiting lecturer, and I teach students at a couple of institutes, universities in Sri Lanka here. So yeah, so I kind of my area of expertise is on software engineering and computer science subjects. So that's what I
Nice,
teach.
nice.
So what's computer science means? Like, is it like about computer? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically if you take software engineering and computer science, there's like
yeah.
it's mostly more or less the same, but there's like
Mhm,
small differences because computer science tends to lean towards the more theoretical aspects of like systems. And
mhm,
software engineering is a little bit, in my opinion, it's a little bit more hands-on, and like you get to work on the current technologies,
mhm.
working on products and all of that sort of things.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay,
That's interesting.
cool.
So does software engineering involves like programs and like creating programs
Yeah.
or coding, and whereas the
Yes.
science is behind the how to say, like a very low level computer architecture or something like that. Is that?
Yeah, so computer science is mostly, it is based on top of theories and fundamental, computer science stuff like, architectures, compilers, that these, and the more or less the backbone that sets it up. But the students who come for the computer science and the software engineering stream, they also more or less have the same sort of subjects. Only a few subjects are a little bit different, but in software engineering we normally focus on, like, building softwares. So it's basically engineering a software, so there's a lot of steps that goes inside it. So you learn programming languages, you learn how to code. So that sort of thing is in common with computer science students as well, because they also have to learn how to build programs.
Nice, nice.
Okay.
And in real life, Kripa, have you like do you think like having the fundamentals of like programming when it comes to, like, let's say software engineering or writing a program, coding, in the industry, do you really, well, you need to have the knowledge, but do you really do coding itself, or can you use like a pre-coded, like let's say a template and then build on that template?
So normally we build from scratch. So it depends on which place you are now. If you are looking into website development, there is a lot of platforms like WordPress, Joomla, and all that, where you can easily build a website on top of like pre-given templates. So that's why anyone can, without much knowledge into the software engineering background, you can, build websites. So those kind of things are there. So there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to website development. And I think even when it comes to like mobile app development and some other, there are some platforms where you can just, drag and drop, you can create, and so that sort of thing is there. But if you go into the industry, like, when you're working in a proper software company, the general, notion is that you build everything from scratch. So you have a lot more flexibility because you're the one who built the product, and you have your own set of testers, you have your own set of engineers, you have business managers, everyone is there in the team. So you can build the software according to the requirements that you have, because sometimes there will be some limitations in existing platforms. So what I've seen is generally in the industry they build their own softwares.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kripa, so with what do you say, with apart from your lecturing and everything, I also know that you're building something in Instagram which is called the Katalyst page, where you are, because I know you're always trying to be raise awareness about the cybersecurity and things like that to among people, and so you do a lot of awareness in that page called Katalyst. And so tell us about your Instagram page. Like, what do you do there, and what motivated you to start a page like that and into that journey?
So Rukshan, so I have this instance. So when I started Katalyst, it was just as a just like a side hobby where I just wanted to share my knowledge with others. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the tech side, like some tips and tricks, how you can like use like certain apps that you can use for certain purposes, and just basically like to give a overview about the tech world. But the more I started creating posts, the more I realized that a lot of them needed to know about the cybersecurity field. They were really interested. They were engaging and interacting with me on that cybersecurity aspect, where how can I be safe online? What are the things that I can do to like stay away from harm? Because there's a lot of things that, because we are all connected online, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So that is when I started shifting my focus towards posts where I can raise some cyber awareness. So now it is mostly, my posts are according to create some kind of an awareness in cybersecurity fields.
Yeah.
Amazing. I went through the page. I mean, that's a really noble cause that you actually started, and we really do need it. I mean, there's so many instances where I could tell you especially my mom and dad who would just click a post on Facebook and ask me, or should I be giving this information because the other person seems to be very legit. I'll give you a very recent example where my dad saw a job post on Facebook, and he was like, he's a chef, so he saw this post, and he was like, hey, look, there's this post and I want to apply for it, and I would can you write, and like, I think he wanted to get a cover letter from me, but also at the same time he said these are the information he's requested, and this is the website and everything. I was like, send me all the information first, let me just do a screening, because I'm not like, none of us are experts like you, but we would have that basic knowledge just to identify little things. So when he sent me, the website had a domain called squarespace.com, whatever, and Squarespace. So obviously it wasn't like a original, like a legit website. And even the name and the email address of the person was a Gmail address. I mean, this person claims to be from a very big company, and why would that person, the hiring person, have a Gmail address? It looks so fake. And then I asked him, look, you got to stay away. But people are vulnerable, right? It's so sad, but they can just click, and so anything can happen at that stage if they don't actually ask.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
it's the same thing, like even back at my place also, this sort of thing is very, because my parents are also on social media. So they are on WhatsApp, they are on like Facebook. And sometimes I realize that, they are the most vulnerable when it comes to this. We at least have some sort of, something to, like we have some kind of an intuition, okay, this might be not good for us. But they don't look into the certain small details, like the web address, is it a HTTPS site, or is it what kind of things are they asking from me? So they just tend to click on anything, and most of the messages they get on WhatsApp are clickbait. Okay, click on this and you will get this much of fortune, or I don't know. So one of the messages that my mom got was regarding this, you have won an iPhone, or you have won some, a BMW car, I don't know. Okay, so so click here to claim your prize. And she was like, okay baby, I have got this message, what should I do? I'm like, don't click it. Then she's like, what if we have actually won it? Then I was like, no, we have not actually won it. We can't win it. I mean, I always tell. So now,
dreams.
yeah, so I know she I mean, it was really difficult for me to say that too, but they get it, like, and but now I always tell whoever I go to, I always tell, if something is too good to be true, then it most probably is. So never go to click on things like that. So I normally tell, and when you take an elder person, like your father or maybe an uncle or aunt's phone, you can see so many unwanted apps. All of them are like downloaded because of a certain ad that they have got. Like you have virus on your phone, so click here to clean, or click here to remove the virus, and then you are most probably installing another malware application onto your phone by doing something like that.
That's true.
Yeah, so
That's true.
little things that I do, like I tell them, like, don't click here, don't, because I can't always look and monitor their phone all the time, right? So that was also one of the reasons why I did it, because I see that sometimes people my age also sometimes fall into these kind of traps. It's, you can't blame them. It's because that's how manipulative those messages or those things are. So that's one of the reasons why I also wanted to raise some kind of an awareness on it.
No, it's amazing. There's a lot of posts. Like, anyone who's watching will put the page in the description. You gotta go check it out. It's got so much information, and yeah, you can learn so much. It's just free information. Just to be more vigilant on the website, on web. Well, Ruki,
Yeah.
you had a good story, right? This is gonna be really fun.
Yes. So yeah, I've been scammed before. So uh yeah, so yeah, I don't know whether I could say it, but yeah. So I found this girl on Facebook. It was a random person,
It's
and
always a girl.
it's always a girl. So found her, added her, and
I think it was a guy at the
no,
end.
no, no,
Okay.
no. It was a girl. No, no, no.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
so it was a girl, and she was like, we started chatting, and it was going good. And she was like, send me some pictures of you and blah blah blah. So it went to that stage where we started sending some private
Yeah.
pictures, and then suddenly she was like, send a picture with your face on it. So I was like, what is she looking for? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, I want to see your whole body. You look really beautiful like that. So I was like, okay, sure. And then I sent her like a full picture. Then suddenly she was like, uh, so by the time I'm sending that picture, she actually went into my Facebook profile and she got access to all of my friends. So apparently you can download a link to all of my friends' profiles links.
Wow.
And then she just called me back in Skype and she said she didn't show her face. She just showed a video of opening a folder and it had all my friends list,
Wow.
and she had a file of my pictures, and she was like, I'm going to put this picture into the profile so everyone will receive my nudes to
Oh
all of
my
them,
God.
all
Okay.
of them in the. And the first person on that list was person called Anthony Carlin. So he's the CEO of Swinburne University. Okay.
Yeah. He's the vice chancellor.
Vice chancellor of the Swinburne University.
Okay.
And she was asking me for some money. So I was in Lanka at that time, and
Wow.
I was like, I don't have money to send you. And she's like, no, you need to send me money. So then I spoke to a few people, and then they just said, just cut off all connection. So I
Mhm.
blocked her off in everything, and I just pray to God that she doesn't do anything.
Mhm.
But she didn't. She just
Yeah.
stopped after that. So she didn't receive any messages, or she didn't send it to anyone or
Bro,
anything.
you had so much
Yeah.
faith in her. Like whoever that
Oh,
person was, bro.
yeah,
If it was me, like I don't know. But there was like Kripa just mentioned, if something was too good to be true, it almost
yeah,
never is true. But it
yeah,
did happen. Like she did, tell that
yeah,
before asking you to send the photo, she was like, "You're
yeah.
really beautiful." You should have
Mm,
known by then, bro. Like she just said that.
yeah.
That's not gonna be true, right?
Yeah. I knew it wasn't true, but like the chat was going really good. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't
She was
know,
Uh,
really manipulative.
manipulative. Yeah. So yeah, so I've been scammed before, but luckily I didn't lose anything. But yeah, like there's a lot of scams happening like that through Facebook, through internet, and you get like random emails now
Yeah.
from like military personnel. There's this like hot girls. They say I'm working in the army and I can only chat through email, and then they just be like, after a
really?
while they'll,
Wow.
yeah, after the
Oh
chat
my
they'll be
God, the
like,
kind of emails and scams that you're getting.
yeah.
Oh,
And
we here. I don't know whether Rookie you get,
oh,
but
I do
here
I do we get, yeah, we do get calls almost 3 times a week,
exactly.
saying
So
every phone
every phone,
gets it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Australia, we here get a lot of text messages, and a lot of phone calls. So text messages are very vague. I mean, almost all the time it's from either DHL, or
Okay.
from Amazon, asking you to click a link. I never click. I've already
Mm,
got my wife not to click anything either. But
Mm.
I mean, if you haven't ordered anything, how can a DHL send you an email or a text
mm,
message? I mean, it just should click, right?
yeah,
But sometimes it's very hard because my wife, she orders so many shit. And I'm like, did she actually order? So, like it
Yes. Yes.
confuses you. I'm
yeah,
like, stop
yeah,
ordering shit. Um,
yeah,
but but yeah, we get a lot of text, and a lot of calls, especially
yeah.
during the end of financial year, where there's a lot of people lodge their tax.
Yeah.
You get a lot of calls from claiming to be from the tax office. You got to
Tax
pay this, you
office.
got to pay that. But yeah, over here I've seen certain ad campaigns where because the tax scam is kind of like the most prominent here. So
Okay.
there are awareness programs, and there are advertisements they do, especially the ATO, the Australian Tax Office. They do get people like raise awareness when it comes to tax related scams.
Yeah.
But do you see such campaigns in Sri Lanka, like coming from anyone else?
I don't think that I have, at least I have not heard something like that. But a lot more prominent, scams that we see is Bitcoin scams. Okay,
Uh,
so I think
Oh.
here there is this leading movement towards going into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
Mhm.
So we get, I think here there's a lot of scams that goes on with Bitcoins, where they promise you free bitcoins if you just pay like a small amount upfront. Okay, so that
Yeah.
itself is gives away that it's
yeah.
a scam. But when you
Exactly.
are, when you think that you're going to get this much of bitcoin, and that also they try to always combine Elon Musk into all of these bitcoin
Yep.
scams, so people
Mhm,
think that it is legit.
mhm.
So that kind of scams are going on. And
Wow.
I think anything related, maybe I have not come across anything related to tax and stuff like, because I don't think they can
Yeah.
target a wide audience with that here. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, like what you said, we get a lot of spam SMSs regarding you got a package arrived, click on this link to see where it where it is, or those kind of SMSs we get. And a lot
Mhm,
of
Wow.
emails also. Even I have got a couple of emails, like most of the things like what Rukshan mentioned,
mhm,
sextortion scams. So they tell you
Hmm.
that they have a video of you, they have recorded a video of you without your knowledge,
mhm,
using your webcam,
Yeah.
and they are going to leak this. If you don't want that to happen, to pay some money,
Hmm.
and that kind of email. So some people, because some people easily fall for that, because
yeah.
it is it's true, right? Sometimes people
Yeah. People
do
people
watch
can get,
porn,
yeah.
they
Mhm,
watch during
Correct.
their free time and all that, so they
Correct.
always get scared, and they sometimes they try to pay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
mhm.
that's one of the scams, very very old scam, but still very very
Effective, no?
Yeah.
impactful. Yeah, very
Mm,
effective. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is similar to being a con artist, but on a digital platform, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I hear, like, especially within my family. I mean, my brother always. I don't know. Like, I felt like he tells me certain things which are like too good to be true sometimes, and I always tell him, like, dude, like, this feels like too good to be true. Like, I don't know, like, I'm a bit speculative when it comes to anything. I mean, it's okay to be, because
Yeah.
like I look at certain, I look at everything from a different lens. Like,
Mhm,
if it's something, like if it's free, like you said, I don't believe it. I mean, I try and ask like more questions. But yeah, people do, target vulnerable people, like just
Yeah.
to extort money or anything like that. But this happens on
yeah.
a digital platform. Hey,
Mhm.
coming back to your lecturing, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you lecture in just one place, or I went through your LinkedIn, so I see you lecture at 3 places, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that? How was that transition from going from industry to lecturing?
Yeah, so I started my visiting lecturing while I was in the industry. So I that is where I started. But after a while, I completely switched, and then I started lecturing. It was I did not find any issues, any troubles, any trying to fit in or anything like that, because I like lecturing. So
Mm,
it was quite easy for me to like blend in to the lecturing space. So it's different. All the universities I lecture in are different to one another, though they kind of almost do the same sort of subjects, but students are
Mhm.
different in different places. So I like that. I like to see a diversity in wherever I am lecturing. So it was
yeah.
good. Like, I didn't have any issues transitioning from one place to the other.
And how's the audience been? How the students been? Do you find anything, what, especially when you went in for the first couple of weeks, was there anything that caught you by surprise, because we spoke to Panduka, who's also a lecturer in one of the universities in Sri Lanka. And one thing he pointed out was the students he teach, they lack confidence when it comes to asking questions in a lecture theater among everyone else. So they're a bit timid when it comes to that aspect, but they do always come back and ask him questions after the lecture one-on-one. So they're more comfortable one-on-one, but they're not that comfortable speaking out in public. Have you gone through certain similar things? Or
Yeah, so if you take generally, that holds. Okay, generally students don't like to come forward and ask questions in a public setting. So even today, like students, even if it's on an online platform, I have noticed students don't ask their questions where everyone else can see that question. So they send me a chat message separately while the lecture is going to ask their questions. So I always try to encourage them to come to the everyone chat so that everyone can see it. Don't send me one-on-one, but it's still it's really difficult to get them out of it.
I think
So
I
on
think
it, yeah, Ruksha.
I know. I think it feels like it gives you that opinion that you are like a nerd if you ask the question in front of everyone. Like they feel something like that.
Yeah,
like
but
don't
I
you think
think
that?
I think they're more scared to be wrong.
Yeah,
I think they're more scared to
Yeah.
ask something which they might feel, others might feel that it's a stupid question. I think that's why. I think they're scared to like come across as being stupid. So that is not encouraged. Like this is something that I went through in my school as well. I don't know, like we never asked questions because one thing they did encourage it, but then the environment I grew up in, if you ask something and if the teacher, because there are certain instances where the teacher is like, that's a stupid question, right? So then you get humiliated by your friends. And then you kind of like, fuck, like I'll keep this question to myself. Like either I ask my friends or I go through a book and try to find on my own. So I think that's where everyone grows up, and that kind of like amplifies when it comes to university and even work environment. There's a lot of I mean, even with me here, like we do have so many meetings, and there are certain forums where we have like 20 to 30 members in a meeting, and like sometimes you're very timid to ask a question because you feel like, fuck, like what would others think, right?
You don't even know the basics. Okay, why would you come to this meeting then? That's that kind of thing.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. For sure.
So
I have
when
that in meetings too.
when these students, I think part of that responsibility also falls on us as educators, because we need to tell them that because there were some lecturers or teachers when I was studying where they looked down upon students when they asked a question, and they were like, how many times should I keep telling you this answer? Okay, that's one. Or how many what kind of a question is this? Why can't you just go and look it up by yourself? You can't ask all questions from me. You have to go online and you have to search them by yourself. So when the student is constantly getting fed that, they will always feel like, okay, they can't come up and ask a question that they want. So there's a majority of students who feel that way. But then I was also surprised that students are a little bit more forward than how we were when we were students. So they raise their concerns, they raise their issues, and they are not scared to. Now in some universities where I teach, they have this thing called a meeting where the batch reps from each batch come together with the management or the lecturers, and they have to voice out their issues, what are the problems, and also they don't have any limitations when it comes to telling these are the issues we have, these are the problems, we need this fixed, we need this for us. So a lot more forward as well in some aspects when I look, but as a batch, if you take them as a whole, it is still towards that old school way of teaching. So
Yeah.
there's this thing, we want to be at the back of the class. Okay, so
Mm.
even
Yeah.
if there's a lot of space, they will always keep the first row empty sometimes,
Mm,
and then go towards the back row. So that
mm,
sort of
Yeah.
thing. And but yeah, so like I said, overall, if you take, it's sort of like what Panduka mentioned. But
yeah.
sometimes individually, when I see, there's a lot more like improvement, and they are very forward, they want to do things like they come forward and they say, I want to do this, I want to do that, that sort of thing.
Mm,
Yeah, that's confidence,
yeah.
right? Like the more you communicate and the more confident you are speaking out and articulating what you want to do and what your question is, then you feel comfortable speaking out. And
Yeah,
you have to do it just once or twice, and it becomes a practice and second nature just to ask a
yeah,
question, even if it's stupid. Because even if it's a stupid question, there could be one student who would benefit from that
yeah,
question,
yeah,
Mm,
right? Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, like you are 100% correct. Growing up, I don't think like we were ever encouraged just to like keep on
yeah.
asking,
You
maybe like
couldn't ask questions, you had to take it in, like whatever they said was set in stone.
Mm,
This was not only from school level, but even when you look at it from like how we were brought up, certain things that they mentioned. Now I was listening to one of your podcasts on the superstition things. So
mm,
like they say, uh, don't go out if a black cat crosses your vehicle or something like that.
mm,
You couldn't ask questions, why, like why
yeah.
is it a black cat, why isn't it a white cat? And no, this is how it's a black cat, and when it's when you go out. So you couldn't
yeah.
ask questions. Partly
Mm,
it could be that they also never asked those questions from their
yeah.
parents. Okay,
Yeah.
so they don't really know the answer. It just keeps coming down the generations. So even in
Yeah.
schools, I think certain teachers did not like asking questions, so they teach you, you just take it in, you write it in your notebook, and then that's it, that's all about it.
Yeah.
So it
Some
Mm,
starts from that level.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think teachers who, I don't know, I feel like now, listening to you guys speak, and also like, going back and like thinking about certain teachers I had. I don't know, maybe they felt like they're being challenged when we ask a question.
Mm, yeah,
Mm,
So it hurts their, I don't know,
ego.
self-respect, yeah,
yeah.
ego, if they don't know
Yeah.
the answer. So yeah, I kind of feel there were some teachers back in like, grade 8, grade 9, when you ask, like they would get like really mad.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy. The whole education system needs to, I don't know, like I don't even know now when they come to teach, whether they are taught the psychology of a student at that age. You know what I mean? Not everyone takes in, or not every student would
Mm-hmm.
understand, or have the capacity to understand certain things in the same way.
same way.
So you need to cater to different students in a different way. And yeah, you also need to reach out and communicate and sort of like build that bond with the student, right? And there's sometimes you have that teacher student gap, when you're like really like in middle school, but when you're like maybe in like grade 10, 11, or 12, towards the latter stages, that bond, or the gap becomes a bit close because you're more of an adult now.
Yeah,
But during the middle age, there's definitely a gap where you just take it in, and yeah, and the parrot
Mm.
fashion, right? Like sometimes you just read whatever it
yeah,
is, and that's it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, one I wanted to ask Kripa was so regarding like privacy as well about us. So, do you think that do we have like privacy among in the cyber world and on internet and things like that? So like people tell to like cover your cameras and things like that all the time, and they say don't go to some like random websites that like not safe for and things like that. So what's your take on that one? Like, do you think we do have privacy, or like like we take photos in our phones and everything and things like that? So what do you think, of what's the take on that one?
yeah. So I don't think anyone can be 100% secure online. So the first thing
Yeah.
about when we think about it, there's like three different aspects to it. So one is privacy. One is anonymity and one is security. So there are three different aspects when it comes to this whole cybersecurity and the general stuff that we have to keep in mind when we come online. So the privacy part is where you don't want others to know what you're doing. You want to have like your own private life when you're browsing or when you're online.
Yeah.
Given the sites that we visit, for example, if you use Google as your search engine, I don't really think that you are as private as you want to be. Okay, because there's a lot of data that's getting collected when you browse through their search engine. Okay, like the
Yeah.
location where you're from, what is the search, like they can build a whole profile of you based on the kind of searches that you do. Okay, so one thing is you could move away from certain website, like certain search engines like what do you say, Google, and move into some privacy oriented ones like, let's say, DuckDuckGo. So that's another alternative for a search engine. So so that is where you try to be private. Okay, so you don't want others, like you don't want Google to know all the information about you, build a profile around you and say, okay, this is Rukshan. Okay, based on his search history, this is Rukshan. Based on your search, this is Malan, this is Kripa. So you don't want others to know what you are trying to do.
Yeah.
Then the other aspect is about the anonymity, how you are going to be anonymous online. So that is where you don't want others to know who you are. So here, if you hide your thumbprint or your fingerprint, or you then you are anonymous. So people can't find who was at that place. So you're trying to be anonymous. But online, it's a little bit more difficult to be anonymous. So that is,
Yeah.
if you want to be truly anonymous, then I think you have to use something like Tor, some kind of a relay network like that, where you can be truly anonymous. And that also, you can't be 100% anonymous if they can find who you are. But yeah, the third one is about the security part, where you are trying to secure yourself online. So that is where you stop yourself from getting hit by malware, or you get your phones and stuff like that infected, and prying on and all of that. So I don't think when you take all three of these aspects, that no one can be like 100% there, because we are like the ones who can make the biggest mistake as humans. Like, let's say you tried to be anonymous and then you went on Tor or something like that, but then you're trying to access your Facebook account on Tor. Okay, so then they know who you are. Okay, so if we make a mistake, most of the time it's us who makes a mistake. The platforms and everything is there, but just one small mistake and then your entire identity will be revealed. So I don't think we as us, like general people who are like surfing the web, I don't think our goal is for anonymity. It's mostly for security that we should be aiming for. Privacy also, yeah. So it's kind of inevitable that everything that we do, people are listening, people are trying to like understand what kind of a person we are. That's why we are getting all these targeted ads as well.
Advertisements.
Because,
Yeah. Like
because they know what we want.
you just talk about it, and then your phone, because my phone has the OK Google, so it always listens.
Correct.
So you just I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine about something, and then you open the Google, all the advertisement was just about that. So
now what I
they
do
are
is,
always,
like, if I really want to if I really want something, I just talk about it. Okay, so that I wait for all the ads to come up, because I don't want to like go and search for it, because the more I search, the more disappointed I'm getting, because I'm not getting what I want. So I've always realized that if I talk with my husband about something that I really want, okay, we keep talking about it so that we get ads.
Last 2 weeks ago, so Bhavani, she organized a staycation solely based on ads. I swear to God. So the lunch, dinner, and also the hotel was solely based. And she told me once the day started, it was all from ads. So she wanted to look up a place to, have nice food, lunch and dinner. And then she gave up. And then on Instagram, there were, 2 places that popped up. So they were solely based on, so it can work on both ways, but then like you get fed up, like when you're trying to look for, like I was recently trying to look up for a new computer to buy, and then all you see is these advertisements. It's annoying sometimes, and it's also scary at the same time, right? Like what the fuck? Like phone knows what you're thinking.
Sometimes it's like you haven't even spoken about it. All right, you just have thought about it, and then you start getting ads. I don't know,
It
it's
is so
really
true.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
I can't explain that. I don't know how
Yeah.
they can understand what I have been thinking.
Mm,
I have not spoken to a single person about it.
yeah.
That's Google's version of Inception, right? They plant that thought in you.
Yeah.
They give you the advertisements first, and they plant
Yeah.
that thought. But DuckDuckGo, I've heard that before. Have you Ruki? Have you used it before?
Uh, no, I haven't used it. I've heard that before, but I haven't used it at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard it first on Joe Rogan. He was talking about like privacy, and he was speaking to Edward Snowden actually, and that's when they were talking about security, and obviously this guy knows more about security than
Yeah.
probably the whole
Yeah.
America. So he was talking about the Tor browser and also DuckDuckGo, and it's really interesting because they were talking about um certain articles that doesn't fit the corporate narrative would be hidden from the Google search. So you know how, like, you know what I mean, right? Like if let's say, like, it was during COVID when certain articles that they deem, like the Google or the America, whoever it is, they deemed would be misinformation.
Appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, so they sort of like hit those articles. So when you search, it wouldn't come up, but when you search on DuckDuckGo, it would come up. So it's come to a point where big corporations like Google have become sort of like the censorship board when it comes to information. So they decide what we can see and what we don't see. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I see a big problem in that because the censorship is, I don't know, it can go both ways, yes, but I feel like they should just give the information to like the people, and they should be able to decide what it is. But they're getting bigger and big every day, right? These
Yeah.
big tech companies, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kripa, with the security, I also want to ask you, so with about the passwords. So creating passwords and things like that. Uh, so I've seen in your Instagram, you said not to use the same password in everything. I tend to use the same password. I'm trying to change it, but it's always a hassle. And because it's the main reason I don't change it is because once you log in and you put your fingerprint to unlock and everything, then you're used to it. And then 2 years goes by, and then by some reason you lose your phone, or your phone is malfunctioning and you buy a new phone, and then you're trying to sign in again. Then you're like, what's the password I put in? So it's better to have one password for me, because uh, I remember that one. But the thing is, if someone hacks into one of my account, they can literally hack into all of my accounts with that password. So what would you how do you remember the different passwords? Like what's your way of saving
Yeah.
passwords,
Kripa,
by the way?
Kripa,
Yeah.
I feel like Fabian is a perfect candidate for the podcast. I think this is like a awareness program or a lecturing program just for him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a good question. A lot of people
Mm,
ask me, like, how do you remember all the passwords? The
mm,
simple answer to that is I don't remember all the passwords. Okay. I just remember one password, and that's going to be my master password. So the way I do this is I always tell
ah,
that you
Mm.
have to um like there are many ways to do this. So I'll just tell you the easiest way that you can do it. One is install a password manager. Okay, so a password manager, like there's a lot of alternatives. There's LastPass, the one, then there's Bitwarden, there's KeyPass. There's a lot of password managers you can find. So
mm,
create an account on a password manager. Okay, and just give a really strong password for uh, that application only, for your password manager only.
mm,
And every other site that you try to register, like Facebook or
mm,
Google or whatever it is, create a very strong password within that password manager and store it. So the password manager manages all the passwords for you inside that vault. So
mm,
that is the most efficient and the most secure way that I feel like that you can do. So
mm,
just remember one really strong master password for that particular application, which is your password manager. And for every other thing, you create a password within that password manager and store it. So
Oh,
in
that's
that way,
nice.
you don't have to remember all the passwords. Or the other thing is like, there are lots of algorithms that people try to come up with. Like back when I did not know about password managers, what you do is you like take a particular keyword, like maybe a particular sentence from a song that you like or something.
Mhm.
Okay, so that will be the, the middle or the base password. And for every new site that you're like, let's say you're creating an account on Facebook, you take F from that, put it in the front, then you have the entire, key phrase of the song that you like, and then at the
Mhm.
end you append it with something else, like the K on Facebook's last letter, take that and put it at the end. So every website that you're trying to log in will have like
Oh.
a quite strong password, because that
Mhm.
middle thing is going to be a little long, and it's like
Mm.
a phrase from a lyric that you
Mhm.
like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you'll get like different passwords, but the
Yeah.
algorithm changes based on the website that you're trying to log in. So
And
that is also
Wow.
Kripa,
like, yeah.
is it true, or is there any sort of like truth to, like, it'll be very difficult to break into a very long password, let's say like a 16 or 20 character password?
Yeah, it is like
Okay.
based on the number of letters that you have in the password, it is the time that you require to break into that would sometimes be exponential.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so
Mm.
but if you are going to use very commonly used phrases like I love myself, or this
Right.
is my password, even though the
Mm.
number of letters in that particular phrase is a bit better than normal passwords, it'll still be hackable, because the reason is these kind of passwords are very commonly
Mm.
found in like already existing breaches. So
Mm.
what
Yeah.
these
Wow.
guys do is when they want to like crack your password, they have like a dictionary of words. Okay,
Mm.
so that's basically called a dictionary attack as well. So you have a
Mm.
dictionary, and you have a lot of commonly used words. Also, you have dictionary words. So what
Yeah.
they do is they try different combinations. So they don't try it manually. They run a program where the program can within a short time they can try to take different combinations of the passwords, put it, and see whether you get access to the site. So that is how they
Uh,
try to
Oh,
brute force. So that's how
yeah.
they
wow.
try to like figure out
Okay.
one of your passwords and put in.
Yeah, because I like otherwise, like for us, if I want to hack your password, I would try it 3 times and then it goes out or something like that, right? So they use this dictionary way. So that's why they
Yeah.
have unlimited chances to try.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and accessing, now this was another thing that I like when we were in uni, or like when I was in school, this is something that I heard. Is it eh, maybe a myth?
Mm.
So is there any truth to like Windows, or PCs are easier to hack or get into compared to like a iOS device?
So there is a notion that Macs are like you don't get viruses on Macs. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a notion. I think this was like a myth that
Mm.
originated a long time back, when the when you look at the population using Windows. Okay, there used to be a huge population compared to the guys who are using iOS or Mac devices. Okay,
Mm.
so what normally hackers do, or what they try to do, is they try to hack as many people as possible. So
Mm.
they try to write programs for the largest user base that they can find. So at a time when Mac was not in use as much as how Windows was being used, a lot of people target the Windows machines. Okay, so
Right.
that is where this myth originated, that Windows is less susceptible, like it's more susceptible to viruses
Mm.
than a Mac device. But I think now it changes, and I have to say, like because Mac OS is based on Unix, so Unix is a pretty good platform, or a base OS base. So since it's a Unix based operating system, it is what do you say, it is less susceptible to penetration from outside, like malware and viruses, than a Windows machine. So that is there.
Mm.
So it is a bit
Nice.
more secure than Windows. But now it changes, like, you
Yeah.
click on a particular link, you can get a lot of you can get attacked just through the browser. You click on something and then they can collect your browser password. So most of the things that you do are on the browser, right? So it doesn't
Right.
matter whether you're using a Mac or whether you're using a Windows machine. If you do some mistake on the browser, they can get all your histories, your passwords. All of those things can be understood. But
Correct. Yeah.
operating system wise, it's a bit more secure than Windows. But I think
Wow.
Windows is also matching that now. Like, they are also
Yeah, I
coming up
guess.
with a lot of security patches, and their security is also, like, quite good. But yeah,
And
so
most offices, I mean, I don't think any office, like most of the offices I've worked in, they all use Windows.
yes,
On a corporate or a workforce level, they mostly use PCs, and only on like, let's say, individual consumer level, they use,
yeah,
Mac computers.
Mm.
But wow, that's interesting. I should make sure then because I use Chrome all the time. That's my go-to browser. Should keep that secure. And they made it so easy that whenever you put in a password, you can click save password, and I don't have to do anything anymore. So everything is stored. You just click and that's it. So in
Yeah.
my mind, as long as I'm on a secure network, in my mind, or if I'm just, because I don't take my laptop like, outside. But I mostly use it at home. But I'm just thinking, like, if I use it at home, it's a bit secure. But I mean, I can get at, like, anyone can get attacked at any time.
yeah.
So a
So
Yeah.
if
browser
you connect,
password.
yeah, if you connect your laptop to a unsecured network, like let's say you go to a public place and you connect to their hotspot or their Wi-Fi, you don't know who's sitting in the middle of that communication that you're trying to make with, let's say, another website. Okay, so they can try to intercept your messages, they can try to intercept your passwords. Those kind of things are possible. So it all depends on not just trying to buy a Mac and because just because it is more secure. It also falls onto our responsibility to make sure it is, like, I used to also use Chrome, and
Right.
I don't use it anymore. So
Anymore.
I
Okay.
moved into Firefox, and I don't use their saved password. Earlier I used to use, but then I moved away from that, Chrome
uh,
password
we,
manager as well.
we are doing a lot of things wrong, bro.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say it's
Yeah.
wrong, but
I think
it's
I think Kripa is gonna hack both of our accounts tonight itself.
Maybe she already did, bro. We don't know. She already did, probably. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I need to. Yeah. I think this is really good, because I think if you didn't know, you would never know, right? Like, if you didn't
Mm.
ask someone, we would never know. And it would be good to pass on the information to someone as well, because with tech becoming really easy these days, and things are becoming
Mm.
so easy, you don't even have to turn on the phone for to do something, like to set up a timer. You can just talk to your phone. I think you kind of like get complacent when it comes to passwords,
Mm.
and you just
yeah,
click that, oh, save password, because it's so easy. And then there's so many subscriptions, there's so many websites. You put
Yeah.
in the password, you sort of like forget everything. But yeah. Hey, on your Insta page, I saw this post. The two posts I saw, which caught my eye, was the post on dark web and deep web. So what's the difference between? Because in my mind, I
Mm.
always thought that they're both the same.
yeah,
Same.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the general misconception that people have between the dark web and the deep web. So the deep web is not bad. So there's three things actually. There's the surface web, then there is the deep web, and then there's the dark web. So the surface web
Mm.
is the thing that you see, like, you go online, you search for something, you um, like it comes up on the search results, and then you go click on them. So let's say you want to go to Daraz or you want to go to AliExpress. So those things get indexed onto the search engine. Okay, so when you
Mm.
go search for something, those come up. So you can go click on them and you can see. So most of them are like
Mm.
static pages, websites that you visit and all that.
Mm.
Then comes the deep web. So the deep web are the things that are not really visible to the surface. Those are the things that are hidden below. Like, for example, if I go and search for Rukshan Messenger messages, okay, FB Messenger messages. If I go like that and search on the search engine, I'm not going to get any results, right? Because those things are hidden.
Right.
These kind of content, the messages, like certain things that if your university Moodle, if you go to your university Moodle page, you have all the content that is listed. So all of those things are not available for the entire public to see. Those are all hidden, and it's not indexed in the search engine. Those things are hidden. So those things are the deep web. What is the content in the deep web? So they are
Okay.
not bad, they are just hidden from plain sight, and that is where most of the internet lies in. Okay, because all these things
Wow.
that are stored inside the some of the posts, the contents, your messages on certain things, all these things that are hidden are the ones that are in the deep web. So if you look at that, the iceberg thing, it's the one at the bottom of the water level.
Wow.
Surface web is at the top, and dark web is something which you can't access through the normal search engines that we have. So you can't try to access the dark web port any, like, they are also just like the internet, that just like the World Wide Web that we have here. Like, you go to Chrome and you search for some website, you'll get it, but you can't directly access it from like, let's say, a browser like Chrome or Firefox. You need special networks to connect to dark web. Okay, so there are workarounds. You can go through certain workarounds, and you can try to access dark web through your normal browsers, but you need to have a different like you need to have a Tor network or something like Freenet, some kind of a network like that, to connect to the dark web. And even the websites there are kind of different. It doesn't end with www.facebook.com, so it'll be something like facebook.onion, I think. Okay, so those are like,
Right.
that is how those websites are on the dark web. So
Okay.
that is where that part you can say it's a bit creepy, scary, not
Right.
the good side of the entire internet.
Internet.
Because you guys know, right, that's where
Yeah.
they trade military stuff,
Correct. Correct.
do all these
Drugs and
drugs, illicit weapons, all these things
yeah.
happen on that part of the internet.
Yeah. Wow.
Have you ever been into the dark web? Like,
No,
tried
I
going
haven't.
there?
No.
Yeah, I'm curious, but I don't even know how to
I was
do
very
that.
curious once
Yeah,
I heard about it. I was very curious. So
Yeah.
I installed Tor, the browser
Yeah.
Tor, and the story behind Tor is also very interesting. It was actually developed by US military, right? Like
Yes.
it was done by the Navy or the submarine or whoever it was looking after that, and then they commercialized it, or they probably gave it away for free. So I did install it. Then I tried to get into. So you can just follow like like YouTubers who
Tutorials
go
on
in,
that, yeah.
tutorials for that. And also there's this YouTube I found who goes into website, but not to do anything harmful or just to show anything, but he shows certain websites that are you can just log in and have a look. But yeah, even the websites look like very shady. Like it wouldn't be like the really nice, well done websites, because you're not there for the visuals. You're there for to get something
to
done.
get something done.
Yeah.
So if you are planning to do that, I think you have to take some precautions to safeguard your identity, because you don't want anyone knowing like who are you in real life. So either you have to install a VPN or some kind of thing that can get you into an encrypted way of getting to their places. So if you do that, I think, and if you're just there to like window shop, okay, rather than shop anything, so you can just, I think that's all right. But just, it's always better to take some precautions, because you don't want people to know who you really are in real life.
And track back, right?
Yes.
It's a crazy world, bro. Like I mean, I can send you a video. This guy is, I mean, he seems to be good. I mean, he goes in and shows the people like, these are the things you should avoid, and these are the things you should are okay to visit. But it's crazy, and like Kripa mentioned, what we see, like, so we've used internet for a long time, right? Like, but we've been thinking, oh shit, like internet is so big, like we've pretty much gone everything, like we pretty much know everything, but like just like she mentioned, we just know the tip, but the rest is all like we can't access, or we haven't accessed. that baffles me. Like, that is super crazy how we've been using internet for almost, like, I've been using for more than 10 years or 15, and I still only scratched the surface of it.
Surface, yes.
And there was this very famous drug website, right? Silk Road or
Silk Road, I think.
Silk
I
Road,
think that's
yeah.
closed down now, I
It's
think.
closed down, but
Yeah,
it was the biggest, the most common or the most famous website in that dark web. And that guy, like, whoever opened it up, I mean, I think there was a movie about him as well. But that's crazy, right? Like, people can say, and also, Kripa, are the payments in dark web like through like cryptocurrency, or they
correct.
can use
Yeah.
the card? Oh, cryptocurrency.
I
Okay.
don't think anyone uses the card there. So they use any form of a payment that can't trace them back, because let's say you just want to order a weapon and then you gave your credit card, they are definitely going to trace it back to you. But so that's why I think they use crypto currencies there.
Wow. This is very intriguing, right? Like, I want to go and see like what these things are, like who these people are, because it seems like
Did you know that there is a Facebook also existing in the dark web?
wow. Now
There's
you
a
blew my
dark
mind
web.
away.
There's a dark web version of Facebook also that exists. I don't know
No
if
way.
this is possible,
Damn.
but they have a dark web
Wow,
version of
that's
Facebook.
that's super crazy. Yeah, that's very interesting. Hey, coming back to the surveillance thing, how Google, sort of like this, not surveillance, but they do listen to us and all these things. One thing I wanted to talk to you about is, I don't know whether we can, but I guess we can. To talk to you about is Pegasus. Now, this is something that really interested me, because it seems like Rukia, have you heard of Pegasus?
No,
The
Okay,
I think
spyware that, yeah.
yeah, so it's this Israeli company, NSO group, that builds this high-tech surveillance program, which they sell it to governments, right? And it's really expensive, like in millions. But they've commercialized it, and they sell it to governments. So government, when they buy it, the main purpose is to carry out surveillance on interested people, like terrorists or any bad people. But that also gives you the license to spy on anyone, because it's a very powerful piece of tech. And so is it correct that so you can sort of like get access to your phone, like absolutely everything, like you can switch on the camera, you can switch on the microphone? Is that true?
Yeah, I think that is possible. So that is exactly
Jesus.
what Pegasus was also doing. So that falls into a category called spyware. So these kind of little programs or applications or whatever you call it, their whole idea is to spy on someone. So they get the entire history to your call history logs, then the messages, they can even screenshot. I don't know whether it works on rooted. I mean, if you have rooted your phone, that means anyone can get access. It doesn't have to be Pegasus. Like, it can be a simple application that you're trying to install. So if it's a non-rooted phone, I don't know I don't know the like details of how spyware how Pegasus works, but I know that they can get the entire history and they can spy on you basically. So that is possible.
And it's I was looking up on it, and I was like because it's very interesting, right? Like how you can like get into someone's phone and pretty much get access to every single detail. So you can so they basically, the easiest way is they basically send you a text, and then you click the text, and it's a link, and in the background they start downloading, and that's it. You're done and dusted. But at the same time, it's scary because there is a market for that. Because it's a spyware, and it seems like they are downloading some sort of like a like application in the background, so that they can send back all the information to whoever the end user is.
They used
was
to like target a lot of journalists with it, where first of all, like this, that is how the spyware came to notice. And now I think they have made it like illegal to sell these kind of spy or softwares to different countries. I was reading on it, I think yesterday or
Oh,
something.
okay.
Like there is a certain list of countries who you can't sell these to. Okay, so the
Right.
rest of the countries you can. And that was also because it's a huge privacy concern. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure, like, it is illegal to do something like that as well. But uh, according to that article, what I read that only certain countries have been restricted from being sold, these kind of things to
Mm,
be sold to. But the others are, I think they are all right. You can sell these things too. So it's
mm,
Yeah.
really it's a matter of privacy concerns, security, all of these things
mm,
in one.
Yeah, I think talking about journalists, that the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, I think
Mm.
he was also I mean, when his murder happened, there were a lot of information to say that his phone was hacked through Pegasus, and even his wife's phone was hacked through Pegasus. That's crazy, man. Like, for me to
Yeah.
like just think like that. And I don't know, like, now is it true like you can hack into someone's phone without even like without the user even clicking a link? Is it
I
is it
think that
possible?
is how Pegasus was installed. You just had to
Oh,
open up
wow.
a image or something like that, and that is how the spyware got installed onto your phone. You didn't have to. I'm not too sure, but
Right.
yeah, I think certain people say that just sending a, even if you click on a link or something and
mm,
you don't have to open the web page. It already starts doing its work. And there's a
Wow.
lot of, if you take, it's not just limited to Pegasus as well. If you download shady apps from Play Store, you have to always be worried or concerned about what are the permissions that they require. Okay, because I have seen,
mm,
like, earlier I used to never give a damn about this, but after I got to know the kind of things that happen now, if you try to install a particular app on your phone, just see what are the permissions that it's requiring. There are certain apps, like there was a calculator app sometime back in the day that required permission to your phone, your call history, your SMS, everything. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
why would a calculator need access to all of these? Okay,
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
so
Yeah.
you have to always think what are the levels of permission that they really require, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
give some permission to certain things, and
Yeah.
always make sure that you're installing the right one. So even now, if you take, there are certain, during the time when in Sri Lanka there used to be you can't access social media during, I think, the previous government time. You
Yep.
couldn't
Mm-hmm.
access social media, and then everyone was downloading VPNs, and then VPN
Mhm.
Yeah.
became like the thing to use. So at that time, I realized that a lot of people were installing VPN, me included, and you never thought about what are the permissions you need. But if you look at it, like free VPNs, most of the time, they are another, malware sort of thing that
Mm,
gets installed. They require access to all the things, your call log, your
Wow.
SMS, and all of these things. And sometimes you don't know, like, you just install it thinking that it's
yeah. True.
legit, but you have to go through those things as well before we really want to use something.
True.
Yeah.
And it's good now. Recently, I think when we first started using phones, they didn't have it. But now, recently, in the past maybe like 5, 6 years, they've whenever you install an app, they ask the operating system
Yeah, yeah,
asks, do you want to give the permission? Do you want
Yeah.
to? And you can also choose when to give the permission, like during
correct,
the
Mm,
correct.
app, while the app is being used. So it's good to see operating systems taking
yeah.
extra steps to comfort the end user, the consumer, because
End
I think the
user.
consumer is getting more and more smart when it comes to like learning all these things,
Mm,
Yeah,
because everything is happening in the world, right? So everyone's
mm,
concerned. And now I don't know with Android, but with iPhones, whenever your camera or your microphone is being used by any app, there's an indication button that pops up. So you
mm,
know, like if you're using an app, that
mm,
if that indication buttons are on, then either your camera or the microphone is in use, and you can always
mm.
go back and change the settings and
yeah,
not
Yeah.
give the permissions. So yeah, bloody interesting stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
that's this game changes.
Yeah.
So
So
Kripa,
yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So before we finish up, I just want to have one more question actually. Uh, uh,
Don't
so
send
do
photos.
you no.
Yeah,
So
that's solid advice. Yeah.
so what's your if someone in the if you want to give an advice to younger generation to get into the IT field or something like that, what would you tell them to do, like to inspire them to get into the IT field or
Into
something
the
like
IT
that?
field, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, what I'd say is IT is really important. Okay, like
Hmm.
even sometimes the advice that I give to some students, like who's just finished with their O levels or A levels, is to always think of y- doing something related to technology. Okay, like even if it's a business degree that you want to do, of course you might be interested in that, but try to have it involved, some part of it involved with tech or IT related, because I don't think anyone wants anyone with just a basic degree on something. They also want to know whether you're technically capable to handle it. Even if you're going as a to take up a job as a receptionist, you still need to know how to use the computer, you still need to know how to use Excel or basic, how to
Yeah.
use it. So that is really important. And my advice is to think about the future where you will definitely need IT in anything, in everything. Now, now even if you look at how things have changed with the work from home and the pandemic and all that, even
Yeah.
doing groceries, you need to use on a computer. Your parents are forced to use a computer. They used
Mm.
to think that no, we are okay, our generation will end with not using technology, but no, they are forced to use a computer to or a phone
Yeah.
to do daily shopping. They have to do banking online, so all of these require some kind of IT related background. So
Yeah.
my advice in that way would be, take something with IT in it, or at least do what you like, but also there's so much of online resources and materials where you can learn how to be tech savvy in today's world, so that is necessary.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a good one.
No, that is
Yeah.
so true. I mean,
Yeah.
everything you do right now, you use a computer, right? Like even, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
every work you do, and I could see that. I could see that even in my workplace, like we got older people working in their 60s or 70s. So when there's a slight change in the way your app is being used,
Yeah.
they would find it difficult because things would not be at the same
At
position. It's the
same.
same app, but it wouldn't be at the same position. And even doing something as tiny as even updating something, they would find it a bit difficult. And once the operating system's updated, so we get updates
Yeah.
from the tech team. So they I think deploy it when during Saturdays and Sundays, during off working hours. But when something goes wrong, and when Monday when you switch on the computer and if it's not working, they do find it, they do struggle it. I mean, it's not like us where we just, sometimes it's just, even for us, we don't know, but it's just trial and error, right? Like we just click
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
they're even scared to do that, just to click and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
That's what I tell to my peeps also at home. Like, it's okay even if you make a mistake. You have to,
Mm.
like, first of all, read what they are asking, then click
Mm.
OK or click cancel, and then see what happens. Then again, it's all trial and error. I think we were
Yeah.
born into that industry, or we were born
Mm.
into this particular generation where we have to do a lot of trial and error, see whether this works. Now, even if you want to buy something, we are always like, we do a lot of research on that, we do this, we do that. And
Mm.
even if you want to use something, sometimes it's all trial and error. But they are really like skeptical. Okay, should I click this, should I click that? I'm not sure what to do in this kind of a situation, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. Yeah. And me and Marlon usually ask this question at the beginning of the podcast, but which we
Bro,
forgot to ask you.
I was about to
Yeah.
ask her this. Wow, you
Yeah.
read my mind. Like, nice. Very
So
good.
we talk about how we met each other the first time you met everyone. So you can share. So it's just to test your memory about how you met
Do I
me
get
and Malan.
something if I tell the correct answer?
We'll send you some brownies. We'll send you some brownies.
Okay. So yeah, so I know Rukshan the longest.
Mhm.
So we go way
Yeah.
back to school. So you remember how our school is basically a mixed school, but we are
Yeah.
actually not a mixed school. Okay, so
Yeah.
like from
Wait,
grade
what?
6 onwards till 10, we are separated. So
Separate.
No
yeah,
way. This
yeah,
is
okay,
brand
And
new
yeah.
information to me.
yeah,
So
and 11 and 12 we are back in together.
exactly. Okay, so the years that we are supposed to be mingling with boys are the exact years that we are kept away from each other.
Kept
Yeah.
apart.
Okay.
Good.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Bruh.
So
Wow. Must
I
be
think
tough.
this is
Yeah.
so we know only a handful of we know a lot of people from our grade 1 to grade 5. So the boys that we used to like play around with. So we know them. But this guy enters somewhere in I don't know like grade
Grade 9,
7,
I think.
8 or 9. Okay, in grade 9.
9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the time we don't have any social media or like we don't have any accounts and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
word travels and we know that this guy called Rukshan has joined. We're like, who's Rukshan? Like, he's a new guy. I mean, like Fabian Rukshan. Oh, wow, he must be a big shot. Okay, Fabian Rukshan.
Uh,
Okay. So,
Oh.
that's all I remember when we were back
yeah.
separate. And then I think towards after our O levels, we got back together again. So there's always this awkwardness between the girls and the boys, and we don't really know how we should like mingle. I think Rukshan was one of the person who was that bridge between the girls and the boys. Okay. So
Wow.
yeah, so he used to come
Wow.
and he used to talk to the girls, and that's my memory of Rukshan. So
Yeah.
he used to do a lot of magic tricks. I don't know. He
Yeah.
used to like do a lot of magic tricks to us, get
Yes.
us talking, and get us
Wow.
mingling and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Bruh. Quite the ladies' man, huh?
Sure. That was his ladies' man. Yeah. No,
Gee,
I think we met the first time was, so this thing happened when I came to uni, and then we came to school, and then we had a debate competition in your building.
yeah.
So we went there, and then we had a debate. So boys
Yes.
versus girls.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I
Okay.
was I the captain of the boys debating team, and
You were there in the
there's
team. Now I
yeah,
remember. Yes.
yeah, and Roshani, and there's Kripa was there in the team as well. So we were talking about technology is
It's
good
a
for,
boon to
or
mankind. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
Oh,
remember that. Yes.
wow.
so is it good for mankind or is it bad for mankind? So it was crazy, and we won, and that's was the first time we actually met everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Yes.
yeah,
Wow, awesome
yeah,
story. And both of you guys remember it very vividly. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
This
So
is
just
he
like,
was
remembered as
in
well.
the opposite team, and so we were supposed to win that. Okay, I have to tell that too. We were supposed to win that, but then since the guys came all the way from their section to our section, we had to like send them out on a
oh
good note.
wow.
Okay, so then
Wow.
That's not how we
yeah,
remembered, but it was good because all the boys from the boys section came to the girls section for this debate,
Mm.
and then we won because it would be weird if we didn't win and we came all the way there and we lost. So I don't know, but I didn't know about that. But yeah, we won, and it was fun. Yeah, yeah,
Wow, that's nice.
yeah.
Kripa,
How
do you
did you meet
remember?
Marlon?
yeah. I think Marlon I met, of course, during Adish's parties, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
yeah,
Birthday
yeah,
parties. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Just
those
one
were
party,
one
bro.
of
Not
the
many.
those are one of the what do you say parties that we used to always look forward to because
Yeah.
Adisha is like a really good host when it comes to parties. So
Yes.
yeah, I think that's where I first met you,
That's
and
where we
then
met. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and most of our communications happened on Twitter afterwards, I guess. So
Afterwards, yeah,
how,
yeah, yeah. Before
Yeah.
coming to that party, I heard a lot about you and all your friends, and I was the only one from, as far as I can remember, like I was the only outside. Everyone was like all your friends from school, like all Adisha's friends, and everyone knew each other. And then we played cricket at Adisha's
yeah,
place, remember?
yes,
And then
yeah,
and then Kripa was right in front, and I hit her with the ball, and
Yeah.
it hit her eye. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I remember it now. Damn,
Yeah.
yeah, shit,
Yeah, that was our introduction. That was good.
Yeah.
But then I don't think since then, like we've never met.
Yeah,
And then mostly the interaction's been through Twitter. But yeah, amazing. Look, should we wrap this up, okay?
Yeah, sure. Let's wrap it up. Yeah, so thank you so much, Kripa, for coming and like accepting our offer to join this
Oh yes.
video call. And yeah, so hopefully we had a really good chat and get to know a lot of things about cyber technology and security and IT things and things like that. So
Yeah,
if people
we
are
had an
listening
amazing
to it,
time.
yeah, if people are listening to it, do go follow her Instagram page called Katalyst. We'll put the link in the description, which is really helpful, and you get to learn a lot of fun topics and knowledge about day-to-day stuff with apps and things that you can get, like free subscription to books and free subscription to download books and download podcasts and things like that. So anything
much
you want to learn
information.
about technology, you can follow her page. And thank you so much, Kripa. Like once
Yeah,
again.
thank you
And
so much again. We had a ball. I think this is probably my one of the I think we've done, this is the ninth episode we've done, and this could be the most favorite episodes, because there was so much to learn from you. All the other episodes we were just talking like it was just with friends. I mean, not that you're not a friend, but it was all just chit chat.
Yeah.
But this was very informative. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm pretty sure everyone had a really good listen, and they got so much information. I'm definitely gonna go ahead and change my browser and do certain changes to my security. But yeah, thank you for coming and doing this with us. We should do it again.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I think I also really had a good time, and I do listen to your other podcasts as well. I think that you guys are doing an amazing job. You all just started, I know, but I know that there's a long way to go for you all also. So kudos to all the things that you all are doing, and thank you so much.
A few moments later.
Go ahead, thank us again.
All right, I can do this again. Okay, so thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast, and I really enjoyed it as much as you all said that you all did too. And also, I keep listening to all of your previous podcasts as well, and I think that you all are doing an amazing job with it. You all have a long way to go in front of you, I know, but I'm sure, and I'm really confident that you guys can really pull this through and then do a good job in that. Anyway, so once again, thanks so much, Rukshan and Marlon. It was really great way to spend my Sunday. A good start to my Sunday actually, because it's morning here and it's almost like night there, I guess.
Yeah,
amazing. Thank you for supporting Kripa. Thanks for the supporting.
Okay.
All right, see you later.
All right, see you. Bye.